Welcome back to part 2 of the EthernetIP adapter 2-part series. In the last video, we set up a compact Logix controller using RSLogix software as an EthernetIP server, and we use Cockpit software with the WAGO PFC series as an EthernetIP adapter using the ports in switched mode. Now we're going to separate these ports. We're going to assign different IP addresses to both of them. We're going to continue to communicate on port 1 with the RSLogix compact Logix controller. And port 2, we're going to use a Raspberry Pi using the CoDeSys 3 target as an EthernetIP server as well to communicate in the second port and demonstrate 2 masters talking to this. So we've already got part 1 set up. Let's get the Raspberry Pi set up. So here we navigate to web-based management, networking, and Ethernet. We're going to set the ports to switched. And then we're going to go back to TCP/IP and we're going to assign a static IP to the second port, which can be on the same subnet as the first. We're going to connect a cable now to port X2, and we'll call up the second port's IP address in a browser just to verify. Now we're going to go into our eCockpit project, and this is going to be very simple. We're going to copy the whole list of variables that we made before. We'll put comments between the two, and we're just going to append 2 to the end of each of these tags just for simplicity. Now all we need to change here afterwards is the NIC. So we will go back to the library manager and just review. So the NIC, we can point this towards X1 or X2, so we're going to change the first instance to 1 and the second instance to 2, which is going to point them to this specific NIC. So next we're going to copy the entire function block instance and the little mapping line of code that we created, and we're going to append the 2 to that as well. Now we're going to download this project and go online, and we'll put it in run mode. You see we start getting data from our Rockwell controller. Now we're going to create a new project in CoDeSys 3, call this the IP adapter. We're going to use the Raspberry Pi target. We'll scan our network and we'll find our hardware. Now we're going to add the EDS file. If you go to the device repository and install, we'll grab the EDS file, install that. Now we go to add device under application. We'll add an EthernetIP scanner. We're going to add an EthernetIP adapter to that. We close this window and now we can point this towards the local port. And then under the adapter, we just have to pass it the IP address, same as in RSLogix. So we'll change this to our second port of our Ethernet, our PFC controller. And then we also need to change the size. So come in here and we'll change this size to 10. And we should be good to go, but we're going to assign a couple bytes to this. Now these bytes are backwards. You'll notice the IEC address for in byte and out byte are counterintuitive. So make sure that you use the %QB for output, %IB for input. We'll go to our PLC PRG, and I'm going to increment the output variable. So we'll see it in our controller. So we'll do output byte 1 is equal to output byte 1 plus 1. We run this, you'll see we don't have our EthernetIP port running, but we come in here, we have to enable this in the eCockpit project. And then if we go back, we'll have to restart the project here. You'll see now we got successfully running. Now that that's done, you can see side by side the EthernetIP data coming from the RSLogix controller and the CoDeSys controller. Okay, well there you go, a redundant EthernetIP adapter in the WAGO PFC products. This can be really useful for aggregating data. Perhaps you have multiple EthernetIP servers that all need to pass data to one another. You can use this as really a utility knife. So please leave your questions in the comments section and be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.